walay lain kundili ang ato mga mayors, Mayor Caroline Bacaltos of Sibunga, Mayor Maitha Canoy of San Fernando, Mayor Ronald Garin of Oslo, Mayor Ronald Joji Derama of Boljon, Mayor Eugene Singson of Alcoy, Mayor Phil Jorquinho of Compostela, and Mayor Dana Andrew Dum of Asturias, together with board member Jose Marie Salvador, are here with us. Mga mayor, mayang hapon.
Mayong hapon. There are more. Proceed.
Yes, there's more, Mr. President. I just wanted to specially greet the Cebu group because
Yes.
your grandfather is from
Grandfather.
Cebu. Is from
Grandfather,
Cebu.
yes. Oh.
Yes, sir. Local officials of Malungon, Sarangani Province, led by Mayor Reynaldo Constantino, Mayor Elvis Uy, and as well as Mayor Elvis Uy of Atimonan, Quezon, and guests of Senator Erwin Tulfo, students from Colegio San Agustin, Binyan, Laguna, led by Dr. Agustia Segubre. I'm also a fellow Agustinian. Sa mga Agustinians, welcome. To the guest of Senator Villanueva, 33rd Southeast Asian Games Philippine Boxing Team. We have with us gold medalist Yumir Felix Marshall and bronze medalist Herji Bakyadan. We have also guests of Senator Pangilinan, Mayor Florencio Nalula of Hingyon, Ifugao, Mayor C.D. Diamante of Tuburan, Cebu. We have guests of Senator Risa Ontiveros, Attorney Joe Vincent Aguila, Claire Esakino, Nino Sasa of the Lourdes School of Mandaluyong. Together, these are all our guests, Mr. President, here today.
Thank you, Majority Leader. We welcome all our guests to the Senate this afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. Mr. Majority Leader.
Oh, Mr. President, we'd like to recognize a distinguished colleague, Senator Robin Hood Padilla, who would like to seek the floor for manifestation.
Senator Robin Padilla, what is the pleasure?
Ginoong Pangulo, nais ko lamang po makapagbigay ng isang napakaikling manifestasyon lamang po.
You may proceed.
Maraming salamat po. Ngayong araw po, ika-11 ng Marso, ay inaalala po natin ang nangyari noong nakaraang taon. Ang atin pong dating Pangulo ay puwersang dinala at ngayon po ay nakakulong sa The Hague, Netherlands. At ako po ay nais ko lamang pong ipaalala sa ating mga kababayan na ang Senado po ay hindi naging tahimik dito dahil nagkaroon po tayo ng resolution number 28 na ito po ay yung expressing the sense of the Senate requesting the International Criminal Court to hold former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte under house arrest for humanitarian considerations. At nais ko lamang din po, Ginoong Pangulo, na ipaalala sa ating mga kasama na meron din po tayong proposed Senate Resolution number 307. Ito po yung resolution expressing the sense of the Senate of the Philippines to protect all Filipinos against extraordinary rendition and guarantee them reasonable time prior to their surrender by or extradition from the Philippines to seek redress from the courts and avail of legal remedies. Yun lamang po, mahal ng Ginoong Pangulo. Maraming salamat.
Thank you. Thank you. Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. We take note of the manifestation of our dear colleague, Senator Robin Hood Padilla. Mr. President, I move to defer the reading of the regular session, the minutes of the regular session to a later hour, Mr. President.
Hearing no objection, the journal is dispensed with, no, not dispensed with the...
Or deferred reading, yes.
We defer the reading of the journal.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that we proceed with the reference of business.
Secretary will proceed with the reference of business.
Messages from the House of Representatives. Letter of Representatives informing that the Senate that on 10 March 2026 passed the following House bills in which request the concurrence of the Senate. House Bill number 8087, titled An Act Granting the Condonation of Unpaid Interest, Penalties and Surcharges and Overdue Obligations of the Basilan Electric Cooperative Incorporated, the National Power Corporation.
Referred to the Committee on Energy.
689, an act numbering the district engineering offices of the Department of Public Works Highways in the province of Davao de Oro.
Referred to the Committee on Public Works.
8037, an act declaring 100 Islands National Park located in the city of Alaminos, province of Pangasinan as a tourism zone.
Referred to the Committees on Tourism, Environment, and Environment.
8038, an act declaring the province of Agusan del Sur as the home of the Golden Tara.
Referred to Committees on Culture and Tourism.
7979, an act establishing the Municipality of Subic, province of Zambales, a level 3 general hospital to be known as a Subic General Hospital and putting funds therefore.
To the Committees on Health and Finance.
7980, an act converting the Mabini Community Hospital in the Municipality of Mabini, province of Batangas, into a specialty hospital to be known as the Batangas Tourism Specialty Hospital and appropriating funds therefore.
To the Committees on Health and Finance.
8043, an act reducing food surplus through food donations and food waste recycling.
To the Committees on Agriculture and Social Justice.
8042, an act declaring October 16 of every year as National Food Security Day in consonance with the celebration of World Food Day.
Referred to Committee on Agriculture.
7719, an act mandating all barangays to create a registry of skilled workers.
To the Committees on Labor and Local Government.
8220, an act providing for the date of the first regular parliamentary elections in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, further amending for the purpose of Section 13, Article 16 of Republic Act Number 11054 as amended, otherwise known as the Organic Law for the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao.
To the Committee on Rules.
Letters from the House of Representatives informing the Senate on 10 March 2020 designated Representatives Adjong, Balindong, Suwan, Magundadatu, Mastura, and Abalos on conferees to the Bicameral Conference and Committee on the Security of Prisons, House Bill Number 8220, titled An Act Providing for the Date of the First Regular Parliamentary Elections in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, Muslim Mindanao, further amending for the purpose Section 13, Article 16, Republic Act Number 11054 as per amended, otherwise on the Organic Law for the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, Muslim Mindanao, and Senate Bill Number 1823 titled An Act Resetting the First Regular Elections in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, amending for the purpose Section 13, Article 16 of Republic Act Number 11054 as amended, otherwise known as the Organic Law for the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao.
Referred to the Committee on Rules.
Bills on first reading. Senate Bill Number 1960, an act providing for the assistance for children and dependents of farmers and fisherfolk, providing funds therefore by Senator Ejercito.
To the Committees on Basic Education and Agriculture.
1961.
And Finance, sorry.
1961, an act providing fresh graduates of Philippine tertiary education, universities, colleges, and training institutions for one-time cash grant of 5,000 pesos by Senator Ejercito.
To the Committees on Higher Education and Finance.
Resolution. Resolution number 344. Resolution directing the appropriate Senate committee to conduct an inquiry in need of legislation in the systemic collapse of onion farm gate prices in Occidental Mindoro and Nueva Ecija, and the reported selling of anomalous imported onion in Bulacan, and the adherence of the Department of Agriculture, its stats agencies, and local government of Nueva Ecija and Occidental Mindoro to import segregation guidelines called soils guidelines and other related laws leading to the severe detriment of local friendly farmers and farm workers by Senator Ligarda.
Referred to Committees on Agriculture, Local Government, and Ways and Means.
Committee report. Committee report number 44, prepared and submitted by the Committee on Civil Service, Government Organization, and Professional Regulation. Upon the recommendation of the Subcommittee on the Disqualification relatives of officials on the fourth degree in government contracts, jointly with the Committee on Finance on Senate Bill number 1962, with Senators Escudero, Go, Villanueva, De La Rosa, and Gasalan as authors, therefore titled, An Act Disqualifying relatives of public officials within the fourth civil degree of sanguinity and affinity from all government contracts and providing penalties for. Recommended approval and citation of Senate Bill number 73 by Senator Escudero.
To the calendar for ordinary business. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move to transfer from the calendar of ordinary business to special order Senate Bill number 1962 under Committee Report number 44. I so move.
Any objection? Hearing none, 1962 is hereby transferred.
Mr. President, this may we ask the Secretary to read the title of the measure?
Secretary will read the title of the measure.
An act disqualifying relatives of public officials within the fourth civil degree of consanguinity and affinity from all government contracts and providing penalties therefore.
Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that we recognize several sponsors of the measure, headed by Senator Joel Villanueva. May we recognize him to sponsor this measure.
Senator Joel Villanueva is recognized to
Thank you
sponsor
very
the
much,
measure.
Mr. President, to our esteemed Majority Leader. Mr. President, dear colleagues, a blessed afternoon to all of you. It is my honor and privilege to co-sponsor Senate Bill number 1962 under Committee Report number 44, or the Government Contracting and Procurement Integrity Act. And we'd like to commend the chairperson of the Senate committee that handled the hearings, Mr. President, our distinguished colleague, Senator Francis Chis Escudero, for his efforts in advancing this important piece of legislation and for allowing us to co-sponsor this measure. May I also put into the records, Mr. President, that Chairman Chis Escudero would like his sponsorship speech to be inserted into the records. Mr. President, public office is a public trust. Bagamat alam po natin na bawat pisong ginagastos ng ating pamahalaan ay mula sa pinaghirapang buwis ng sambayanang Pilipino. Because of this, it is imperative, Mr. President, that government procurement processes remain fair, transparent, and free from any form of undue influence or conflict of interest. This proposed measure addresses a common source of doubt in government transactions. The perception, Mr. President, and sometimes the reality that relatives of public officials may participate in or benefit from government contracts. Even the mere appearance of such conflicts can erode public trust in our institutions. And so, Mr. President, this bill establishes a safeguard by disqualifying relatives of public officials within the fourth civil degree of consanguinity or affinity from participating in government contracts where conflicts of interest may arise, ensuring that procurement remains fair, impartial, and based on merit. Mr. President, lastly, the passage of this measure underscores the importance of ensuring that public service is always guided by integrity, fairness, and accountability. By strengthening safeguards against conflicts of interest in government contracting, we reinforce the public's trust in our institutions and help ensure that government resources are used solely for the benefit of the Filipino people. Mr. President, with this, we express our full support for the passage of this measure at inaanyayahan natin ang ating mga kasamahan na suportahan din po ang panukalang batas na ito. Maraming salamat, Ginoong Pangulo, and may God bless us all.
Yes, and with that, we also incorporate into the records the sponsorship speech of the principal sponsor, Senator Chis Escudero.
Yes.
All right,
Thank you, Mr.
Majority Leader.
Mr. President, may we also recognize Senator Jingo Estrada to deliver his co-sponsorship speech.
Senator Jingo Estrada is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, with the indulgence of the good gentleman from Sorsogon, Senator Chis Escudero, I would like to be made a co-sponsor of Senate Bill number 44 under Committee Report number 1962, entitled An Act Disqualifying Relatives of Public Officials within the fourth civil degree of consanguinity and affinity from all government contracts and providing penalties therefore. This measure imposes disqualification against relatives within fourth degree of consanguinity or affinity of certain public officials from participating in or entering into government contracts. This apparently amended several provisions of Republic Act number 12009, otherwise known as the New Government Procurement Act. This proposed measure is pursuant to the time-honored principle of public office is a public trust. It mandated that officials must serve with utmost responsibility, integrity, loyalty, and efficiency, acting with patriotism and justice while leading modest lives. Supreme Court decisions emphasize that government service is a duty, not a privilege, and that officials must prioritize the general welfare over personal or financial interests. This representation supports this bill and acknowledges the importance of legislating measures to prevent conflicts of interest of public officials and private contractors participating in government contracts. It aims to deter dishonest acts, ensure accountability, and promote integrity in public service. We commend the sponsor for the immediate action on this very important measure. Maraming salamat po, Ginoong Pangulo.
Thank you, Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, two of our colleagues, Senator Robin Hood Padilla and Senator Christopher Bongo, would like to insert also their co-sponsorship speeches for the record, Mr. President.
They so inserted into the records.
Mr. President, I move that we suspend consideration of the measure to allow our colleagues to study the measure further. So moved.
Any objection? Hearing none, consideration of the measure is suspended.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that we resume consideration of Senate Bill number 1937 under Committee Report number 43. This is the GIDA or the GAIDA, sorry. Bisaya man ko sir, kaya GIDA. So GAIDA pala, GAIDA.
Well, ako?
De gusto ni SP kasi GAIDA, para guide, it's to guide them.
Well, I was being corrected by some legal personalities about the pronunciation that I wanted.
Bawal ba?
Because they found that in the dictionary, it's pronounced now as Gida.
GIDA.
But I said, isolated starts with an I.
Isolated. Tama.
It's not isolated. Nevertheless, it's up to you. We leave it to you. Whatever. Gida
Thank
is
you.
fine.
Thank
no
you, Mr.
problem.
President. So, this is our last mile school. So, we don't want to be called last mile, but geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas. May we recognize to co-sponsor the measure, Mr. President, with the permission, with this permission of Senator Barmaquino, Senator Joel Villanueva would lead the sponsorship of the measure.
We'll continue the sponsorship.
That's correct.
Yes. All right. Senator Joel Villanueva is recognized.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. President, there are, may I, Mr. President? There are no members who wish to, no member wishes to interpolate the measure, Mr. President. We
All
move
right.
to close the period of interpolation.
Period of interpellation is closed.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we open the period of amendment.
Yeah.
Period amendment.
Mr. President, before we just proceed with the committee amendments, let me just put into the records of this August chamber that this proposed bill consolidates Senate Bill numbers 530 and 624 and House Bill number 5939. And this bill seeks to institutionalize the geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas or LMS under the DepEd and ensure equitable access to quality basic education for learners in GIDAS or GAIDAS, including indigenous cultural communities, and guarantee sustained funding for the program. May I, Mr. President, introduce a first amendment on page 8. This is on section 16 of the implementing rules and regulations. This was introduced by no less than our Senate President. And if I may, Mr. President, on page 8, delete lines 24 to 28 and replace with the following paragraph. Section 16, implementing rules and regulations. Rules and regulations necessary for the effective and efficient enforcement of the provisions of this act shall be formulated by the DepEd in consultation with the NCIP, DPWH, DICT, DOE, NEA, DSWD, DENR, NDRRMC, DBM, CSC, TEC, and Union of Local Authorities of the Philippines or ULAP, and it shall be implemented within 90 days from the effectivity of this act. So move, Mr. President.
Definitely no objection. The motion is approved.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. That would be all, Mr. President. And again, we'd like to thank our colleagues, especially Senate President Soto, for expediting the passage of this very important piece of legislation. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right. Thank you also. Majority Leader, we are done.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Does that mean that, I forgot, I was talking to Senator Pia, does that mean that it incorporates the amendments of the Senate President? Yes. Mr. President, I move to close the period of amendments.
Any objection? Hearing none. Period of amendments closed.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to approve on second reading Senate Bill number 1937 under Committee Report number 43.
Any objection? Hearing none, Senate Bill 1937 is approved on second reading.
Thank you,
Congratulations,
Mr. President. Thank you, Majority Leader. Thank you.
Congratulations to our sponsors. Mr. President, move to suspend consideration of the same.
Consideration of the measure is suspended.
Thank you, Mr. President. May I just ask for a minute suspension, Mr. President?
Session suspended.
Mr. President, before I act on this next motion, due to the fact that the sponsor of this measure will be celebrating his birthday tomorrow on March 12th. Happy birthday to Senator Raffy Tulfo.
Oh.
Therefore, Mr. President, I move that we resume consideration of his pet bill, Senate Bill number 1910, under Committee Report number 37. I so move.
Any objection? Hearing none, consideration of 1910 is in order.
This is an act providing for free financial education to overseas Filipino workers and their families, Mr. President. The parliamentary status is we are in the period of interpellation. Because it is his birthday, Mr. President, no one wishes to interpellate the good gentleman from Davao and the Republic of the Philippines. Therefore, I move to
So-
close the period of interpretation.
So I need not recognize the birthday boy.
Only for amendments, Mr. President.
And
Yes.
I need not recognize him to stand up because you're already closing the period of interpolation.
Yes, Mr. President.
So any objections? Hearing none, period of interpolation is closed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that we recognize the sponsor for the amendments, Mr. President.
So period of amendments open. The sponsor, Senator Rafi Tulfo, is recognized.
Birthday niyo bukas.
Mr. President, on behalf of the Committee on Migrant Workers, I would like to introduce the following committee amendments, copies of which have been distributed to our colleagues. Specifically, on page 2, delete the entire paragraph from lines 7 to 9 and replace with a new one, which shall read as follows. Financial literacy training shall also be incorporated into the pre-employment orientation seminar or POS and other pre-migration orientation seminar or PMOS and trainings conducted by the DMW and other relevant agencies. The immediate family members and dependents of OFWs throughout the Philippines who are involved in the management of remittances and family finances shall likewise be equipped with relevant financial knowledge and skills through online seminars and other feasible and effective means. I so move, Mr. President.
I hear no objection. We will approve it, but may we have a copy, please? The presiding officer given a copy. Anyway, the motion is approved.
On page 2, line 15, after the acronym DILG and before the conjunction and, insert the phrase which reads as follows. The Department of Trade and Industry, the Home Development Mutual Fund, Pag-ibig Fund, the Social Security System, or SSS. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, adopted.
On page 2, between lines 17 and 18, insert a new paragraph which shall read as follows. The DMW and OWA shall issue the necessary policies and guidelines on the conduct of the PDOS, including regulations on the qualifications and registrations and accreditation of PDOS providers and trainers. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objections? Hearing none, adopted.
On page 2, delete lines 26 to 29 until lines 1 to 2 of page 3. I so move, Mr. President.
Delete.
Delete lines 26 to
Yes,
29.
no replacement, just delete.
Just delete, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, adopted.
On page 3, deletes lines 3 to 6 and replace it with 2 new paragraphs which shall read as follows. The DMW shall, in coordination with OWA, DOF, BSP, SEC, DICT, DILG, DTI, Pag-ibig, and SSS, educate OFWs and their families on protecting their earnings, managing their income and debts, and prioritizing savings and investments for sustainable livelihood and long-term financial stability. Financial education shall include lectures, discussions, and trainings on financial information, subjects and programs that may deem relevant by the implementing agencies such as, but not limited to, saving and budgeting, debt management, financial planning, avoidance of exorbitant interest on loans or debts, consumer protection, fraud and scam prevention, digital financial literacy, and cyber hygiene, and financial products such as stocks, bonds, insurance, and mutual funds. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, adopted.
On page 3, line 11, after the word including, insert the phrase but not limited to. Then after the word scams, insert the word and, after which delete the comma and the phrase, and the like after the word schemes. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, amendments adopted.
On page 3, between lines 11 and insert a new section 7, which shall read as follows. Section 7, appropriations. The amount necessary for the initial implementation of this act shall be sourced from the current budget and appropriation of the concerned departments and agencies. Thereafter, such amount as may be necessary for the continued implementation of this act shall be included in the annual General Appropriation Act and renumber the succeeding sections accordingly. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, adopted.
That would be all, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
There is a amendment the presiding officer is proposing, and that the majority leader will lead into the records.
With the permission, of course, of the sponsor and the body. On page 3, Mr. President, delete lines 12 to 15 and replace with Section 7, implementing rules and regulations. The rules and regulations necessary for the effective and efficient enforcement of the provisions of this act shall be formulated by the DMW, in consultation with the OWA, DOF, DILG, DICT, CICC, NTC, BSP, SEC, and other relevant financial stakeholders and institutions, and shall be implemented within 90 days from the effectivity of this act. I so move, Mr. President.
What does the sponsor say?
We adopt, Mr. President.
Accepted. Any objection? Hearing none, adopted.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, before there are no other amendments, but maybe just some
Oh, by the way, that
clarificatory-
is now the new Section 8.
Yes.
That will be now the
And
new
to
Section
number,
8. All right.
if you number them accordingly.
All right. Go ahead.
Subsequent time, Mr. President. Mr. President, may just a quick question to our dear colleague. Just para hindi po malito ang ating mga kababayan, this is not free financial help, di ba? This is free financial literacy training.
That is correct, Mr.
To
President.
help them with their savings,
Right.
paano po mag-invest, ganun pong education ibibigay natin.
That is correct, Mr.
Kasi
President. Precisely.
baka pag binasa ng tao na may tanong nga si Senator Lacson sa akin, ito ba ay free financial aid, paano kung yung OFW ay mayaman? So when we looked at of course, the committee report and studied the bill further, it is for financial literacy.
Not financial assistance.
Yes, it's financial literacy to train them how
Financial
to save,
education.
how to use
Financial
their money.
education as well.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, correct. So it's on the finance side, yung konting savings, paano pag-invest, paano nila magagamit ng maayos ang efficient use of their funds. So just for clarification, Mr. President, we thank the good sponsor for that clarification and that, of course, for the record, for our people to hear and see. So with that, Mr.
right.
President, there are no other amendments on the measure. I move to close. Oh,
Senator Francis Pangilinan is
Recognize Senator
recognized
Pangilinan.
before.
Yes, Mr. President, just a clarification. If that is the case, I beg the indulgence of our colleagues, but I was going through some other measures. But should not that be reflected as an amendment in the title? Financial literacy education. What is the pleasure of our sponsor? Because it might be misinterpreted or misunderstood.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes.
The title itself speaks for itself, meaning it tells us that it's an act providing for a free financial education to overseas Filipino workers and their families. In short, like what Mr. President said, it is to educate our OFWs how to save money. Hindi
Yes.
po ito ayuda. Ito po ay tulong para mabigyan sila ng education tungkol sa pagsisave ng pera nila while they are working abroad para pagbalik nilang Pilipinas, hindi po sila walang-wala tulad ng mga iba. When they come back to the Philippines, wala sila kahit na single centavo, bankrupt sila because while they were there, naubos yung pera nila.
Yes, I understand, Mr. President, but I was just concerned that with the question earlier raised or the point earlier raised by Senator Zubiri, as expressed by Senator Lacson, baka lang hindi maintindihan ng iba nating mga kababayan at isipin na ito ay assistance para sa education, But it's really financial literacy education.
Oo nga, ano.
Kasi pag sinabang financial education, baka hindi so maybe if the good senator is
Yeah.
willing,
I agree, Mr. President, with the good senator.
Well, in that case, would you consider using the word for instead of to? So it becomes an act providing for a free financial literacy education for overseas Filipino workers and their families.
Insert
The word-
financial literacy,
Oo.
Before
And replace to with for.
replace to with for.
All right. Is that what does the sponsor say?
I accept, Mr. President.
Accepted. Any objection? Hearing none, adopted.
thank you to the
Thank you.
birthday
So,
boy.
just for clarity, Mr. President, subject to style, the title would read now as an act providing for a free financial literacy education for overseas Filipino workers and their families.
Correct.
Perfect.
Right.
With that, Mr. President, there being no other amendments, I move to close the period of amendment.
Any objection? Hearing none, period of amendments closed.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Pasa mo na.
No, financial literacy education. Thank you. With that, Mr.
Subject to
President, we move to approve on second reading, Senate Bill number 1910. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, Senate Bill 1910 is approved on second reading, subject to style.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Congratulations to the birthday boy, Senator Raffy Tulfo. Ganyan na lang ba po, Mr. President? Greetings na lang. May Lunes pa naman eh. Mr. President, I move to suspend consideration of the measure.
Consideration of the measure suspended.
May I ask for a minute suspension, Mr. President?
Session suspended.
Approve, and we defer the reading of the approve the journal, Mr. President, and dispense with the reading of such. I so move, Mr. President. This is of 54th session, Tuesday, March 10, 2026.
Sorry?
Mr. President, I move that we dispense with the reading of the journal of the 54th session, Tuesday, March 10, 2026, and consider the same as approved. Mr. President.
Kopya ba ako niyan? Journal.
No, yes.
May,
yes,
may,
Mr. President,
we
earlier,
deferred it, so
We deferred it, so according
yes,
to
but
the staff,
I
it's ready already, Mr.
I want
President.
to take a look. at
Okay.
a certain page.
Oh, therefore,
So if you don't mind, may I have
withdraw
a
my
1 minute,
motion. Yes.
1 minute suspension, and may I be provided a copy? I will entertain your motion to
Okay, Mr. President. Mr.
to
President, move that
dispense
we
with the reading
dispense
and
with the reading.
approval.
And approval, Mr. President, for March 10, 2026, the 54th session. I so move, Mr. President.
Yes, hearing no objection, it is approved. And the reading dispensed with, but I just wanted a certain paragraph copied for my perusal.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Motion's approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. These are conferees to some bicameral conference committee reports. Mr. President, move that the Senate President designate the Senate conferees on the Conference Committee on the Disagreeing Provisions of Senate Bill number 1823 and House Bill number 8220. That's the bills resetting the BARM elections.
Hearing no objection, the following are designated as conferees on the disagreeing provisions on Senate Bill 1823 and House Bill 8220. Senator Juan Miguel Zubiri as chairperson on the part of the majority, and of the part of the minority, Senator Zubiri and then Senator J.B. Ejercito, and then for the minority, Senator Jingo Estrada.
Thank you, Mr. President.
So designated.
Thank you. Mr. President, may I ask for 1 Senate minute, Mr. President?
Session is suspended for 1 Senate minute.
Thank you.